Hey, welcome everyone. In this video we will start building the homepage, and also we will start our work with the API, which is TV Maze, and it will give us all information about shows and actors that we are looking for. It is completely free and available for everyone. Let's go. Let's get back to our code and let's open home.js, and the first thing we will do, we will create a new input that will be our text box for our search. So here I will put input of type text, and for now that's it. Now we need to associate a new state with this input. So whatever we type inside our text box, we have it inside the state. So for that, from React, I will import useState hook, and I will define a new state. I will give it a name of input, then the update function as set input, and then useState default value will be set to just an empty string. Now, how to associate this state with this input element? Well, we can get use of the onChange event that is available on this input element. So let's type onChange, and as any other event, it receives a callback function, and this callback function receives an event object. But instead of directly putting this logic over here, let's create our own custom function on input change, and this function receives an event object, and let's replace this handler with our on input change function. All right, now let's try and console log this event object over here. And if we open our app and if we inspect and go to console, now whenever we type inside, we can see that the event is being fired, and we can see the event object. But the most important part inside this event object, we have the target property, and from this target property we will get access to the currently typing value. Alright, so let's try and console log event target dot value, and right now whenever we type, let's say hello, you can see that the value that we type here, we can get it from this value prop. All right, perfect. This is how we will update our state. So we will call set input, and we will put event target value inside. All right, and that's it. We're almost there, but there is one more thing to mention, and it is really important. Right now we update the state and everything works fine, but we didn't directly associate our input state with this input element. So for that, we need to use the value prop, and for this value, we need to put our input state, as otherwise it will work, but the input state will not be directly associated with our state that we define here. All right, now everything will be the same, but now we mapped input element with input state. Cool. Now our next step is to create a new button. We will give it type button, and inside we will put search. Okay, let's check it out. Perfect. Now we need to give it the onClick handler. So onClick event, and again for the onClick event, as before, we will use the custom function, which we will name, let's say, onSearch, and let's keep it like that for now. And for onClick, we will put onSearch. Perfect. Now, what is our strategy when we click on this button? What is going to happen? Let's take a look at this API, how we are able to get results. So for now, we are only interested in this first example, which is show search. Let's click on this example and let's take a look. As you can see, now we receive all data that we put inside this, let's say, request. So inside our URL, we need to put the query string. Right now it is set to girls, but here we will put our state that we just created. And in that manner, we can grab results related to our typed text. So here, if I type man, and if I look now, you can see that results have been changed. So this is it. This is the way to go. So let's copy this URL. Let's get back to our code, and for on search, let's paste it and comment it. And let's replace HTTP with HTTPS. And what logic should we put here? Well, to grab data from some external resource or to just, receive data, we need to call the browser API fetch. It allows us to fetch the remote data, let's say. So inside this fetch, we will put this URL that we just copied, like that. And then instead of this query string man, we will put our input. So here I will switch quotes, I will put string interpolation, and inside I will put our input, like that. Alright, and this fetch function returns promise. It means that we need to await it. So we will put .then, and here we will receive the response object, but it is still in the raw structure. So we need to convert it to JSON, the data that we can work with. So response.json to transform it, and we will put here another then, and eventually we will receive our results from the API. So here we will put result, and let's just console log it to see what do we receive. So I will put result, I will save it. Now let's get back to our app. Let's look for something maybe for man. Now if I click on search, you can see this result. So array of 10 elements being displayed. Pretty awesome. And inside we have all show information. And if I change something, let's say to girls, and if I click on search, I will have another results being displayed. Okay, perfect. So this is our strategy. But here I will want to point to one more thing. Right now the search will only take place if we click on a button, but we want to also start the search when we press enter, but it will not happen because we didn't map our enter key with the input element. So what do we do? Well, we can get use of another event that is available for the input element. This event is on key down, and as before it receives a callback function with the event object inside. So we will create our custom function, which we will name on key down, exactly the same as the event name. And again, it will receive the event object, and we will put it here for this handler. Now, what we need to do here? If we console log it, again we will receive the event object. So basically it fires every time when our key is pressed to the bottom, when it is down. But what's our strategy will be here? How can we understand that we are pressing the enter button right now? Because whenever we press a key, this event will fire. Well, inside Google, I will type JavaScript key codes. Then I will open the first URL, and here whenever I press any button, I can get the number that is associated with this particular button that I pressed inside JavaScript. So as you can see, when I press enter, I receive number 13. It means that let's try and console log event key code. And now if I press enter over here, I receive 13, exactly the same number as I receive here. And if I press A, I get 65. If I press A here, I get 65. So this is how we can understand that right now we press the enter button. So we will do a simple check. If event.keyCode equals 13, then we will call our onSearch function. We'll put it like this, pretty simple, but it will give us that onSearch was used before it was defined. So let's just put this function on top of it right after input. All right, perfect. Let's check it out. If I type for girls and I press enter, you can see results on the right. So this is it. I guess that's the end for this video. We've done everything we wanted. In the next video, the results that we get from the API, we will display them inside our component. But before we end this video, let's commit our changes. So git add everything and then git commit. We will say created input and fetch results from TV Maze API. Alright, perfect. See you in the next one.